welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full day of eating, which is the first one of many, I'm sure. So starting off, we're going to be having 10 grams of glutamine and 5 grams of creatine, because the glutamine is, I've started that recently, in the last couple of weeks, and it's meant to help digestion. So at the peak of my bulk, I was having like 4,700 calories. I just felt bloated the whole time and my digestion was struggling a little bit. So did some research, and this is supposed to help with that. But for it to be effective, you need to have it fasted. So 10 grams fasted, 5 grams, just because why not put the creatine in as well. So that is, I guess, the first thing I'm having on the day. Okay, so a little tip here, I'm going to be using the Robinson's squash just to make it not taste like trash, because the glutamine here, it says unflavored, but it has like a weird taste to it. So just to drown that out, I'm going to use some squash to just make it bearable. Just a little dash. Okay, so for the actual meal one of today, I'm going to be making a shake. It's just going to be simple ingredients: unsweetened almond milk, oats, protein powder, and peanut butter. When I wake up in the mornings, usually, I don't have a big appetite, as I'm sure a lot of other people do, so it's easy for me to just get, I think this is a 1,500 calorie shake, just to get the ball rolling, because I've done the whole eating eggs and a lot of oatmeal in the mornings, but it just takes forever to eat, and to be honest, I just want it over and done with. So, you know, if you've got work in the mornings, uni, school, whatever, you're just on a short time, I just think it's much better to just have a shake and just get the calories rolling for the day. Okay, so for the shake, we're having 200 grams of oats, 310 milliliters of unsweetened almond milk, 65 grams of peanut butter, and 34 grams of whey protein. I'll just put one final tip that I didn't actually film is put cinnamon and a bit of stevia if you want it to taste a little bit better. Okay, so meal number 2 is going to be 150 grams of chicken and I believe 400 or 500 grams of rice. I need to double check that. So yeah, just a little update on the cut. So what I'm doing in regards to my cutting and bulking. So I finished my bulk at 200 pounds. I'm currently just under a week into the cutting phase, and it's crazy. I'm cutting like 10 months and probably like 2 years properly. I've kind of just been trying to bulk and actually gain some size. So it's really nice to finally be able to see what's underneath. I can really feel a bit tighter. And it's going to be a nice couple of weeks. So I woke up at 195 pounds today. See how the next couple of weeks goes. I'm very excited. It's crazy, isn't it? For people bulking, especially, but also cutting as well, having a rice cooker is just so convenient. It's literally so convenient. You can have obviously the small packages of like basmati rice or Uncle Ben's, I think it's called. But honestly, this is the cheapest and it's the easiest way to make rice in bulk. I'll definitely invest in a rice cooker if you're trying to gain some size and you want to save some time. This is just my personal preference, but I just love having these big bowls for my meals. I hate eating out of small bowls, but personal preference. But yeah. The current sauce of choice is this Nando's Peronaise. And honestly, I don't track this, but I've seen many videos on this. So if you're doing a bulk and you're doing a cut, right? You want to keep the condiments in. You don't need to measure every time. I feel like that's a bit anal unless you're doing a competition. But just having about the same amount every single time is a good method. And then also I'm going to be adding a little bit of this is Himalayan pink salt, because it's still pre-workout and it's so you get a better pump, you don't get cramps. So yeah. Alright, so for my pre-workout meal, I'm gonna be having 4 rice cakes, 15 grams of honey. Okay, so just a point on the honey, right? This is like a nutritional mistake that I made, I guess, when I was younger. I really demonized sugar because obviously you're told that it's a junk food and obviously sweets are not good for you, but they can have a place. Like sugar can definitely have a place in bodybuilding and working out. So honey has sugar in it. Sugar is a carb and it's really quickly digestible. It can like get absorbed into your bloodstream very, very quickly and be used as energy, right? Before a workout, when you're gonna be, using energy to work out, like these quick digestible carbs can give you that spike, which is gonna be really useful to just make you lift as heavy as possible and just have a good workout. So if there's ever a time to use sugar in your workouts or honey, it would be pre-workout, I'd say. And one last thing, the reason I'm obviously having rice cakes is because just this meal in general is very light. You wanna be feeling sluggish after having a big meal before your workout. So now it's time for pool day. Pool day done. Now for my post-workout meal, I'm going to be having 200 or 102 grams of Rice Krispies, 200 milliliters of unsweetened almond milk, and 30 grams of my protein. Just another point real quick. Similar to how I previously had a misconception about honey and sugar just being categorically bad, in the same way, I've come to a realization, or at least I've learned, that the same can be applied with cereal. So I used to think that cereal is just categorically bad because it's obviously cleaner carb sources, but I've come to learn on my bulk really that first of all it's really hard to eat 700 plus grams of clean carbs. It's very difficult if you try it. You can throw in slightly less clean carb sources, aka Rice Krispies, even though they're still pretty clean. And the best time to have them is immediately post-workout, because when you're working out, you use energy is carbs, and your glycogen stores are going to be depleted. So right after the workout, you want to replenish those glycogen stores with a quickly digesting carbohydrate, and Rice Krispies are a perfect option, and it's basically the most efficient time for you to have a slightly less clean, even though they're still pretty clean, carb. So I'm just 1 week into the cut. My carbohydrates are still pretty high. I'll probably take out the Rice Krispies when I'm a couple more weeks in and the carbohydrates are lower. But I still need to get 620 carbs on my training days, which is still quite a lot. So I'm still having Rice Krispies post-workout for now. Also, just real quick, if you're wondering what this glistening stuff is on my lips, definitely not wearing lipstick. I just have dry lips as of now, and I'm trying to fix that issue. No lipstick for me. Just a tip on obviously how to make it taste nicer. If you can fit it into your macros, obviously having chocolate or caramel flavored protein powder with the unsweetened almond milk makes it taste a lot nicer. It makes it just taste like a milkshake. So if you're mixing a milkshake with the Rice Krispies, it just tastes nicer because, let's be honest, like unsweetened almond milk with Rice Krispies is pretty bland, so make it taste a little nicer. Okay, so meal number 5, the penultimate meal of the day, is 150 grams of chicken and 500 grams of white sushi rice, which is exactly the same meal as meal number 3. So a point here I want to touch on is I feel that looking back on the day so far and the foods I've eaten, it can come across as very boring, bland, and it's nothing special, it's nothing game-changing. It's not like you're seeing things here you've never seen before. But I'd like to use an analogy to explain why I do what I do, and I think it makes a lot of sense. The analogy revolves around the concept and the idea that simplicity is key and it is the most important thing for progress and results. In nutrition, the 2 main schools of thought are being a cook and being a baker. So starting off, the baker has a specific end goal and it has lots of specific moving parts that all work towards the end goal. So whether that be with a single meal, it's gonna have a set amount of each ingredient and it's gonna have a set desired outcome, which only comes about from all those ingredients working together in that specific ratio or amount. And then all these meals together are gonna add up to a full day of a desired outcome from all these little moving parts. So for example, with my food today, I've had all these moving meals, all these little moving parts, which are my meals, and they've all had a specific calorie and macronutrient breakdown throughout the day to equal my final desired calorie total with the desired macronutrient breakdown. So that's the baker. Now the cook, on the other hand, only gets inspiration for their foods. They get inspiration from concepts and ideas. They don't have the exact measurements on what exactly they're doing to make the desired outcome. They just have an idea. So for example, like a pasta, they don't get given the exact ingredients of how to make it. They just get told the rough gist of what it is, and then they'll use what they have to make it the best way they think is possible. Clearly, I'm being the baker, as I just said. And the reasoning for that is because ultimately, my goal is to become a chef. Now, a chef is someone that can do the fancy low-calorie meals and mix and match things to get the desired daily calorie total and all the macronutrient breakdown, and they can just mix and match things because they're so competent. But in order to get there, you need to do your time as a baker, and you need to chip away at the fundamentals and consistently show up day after day, and that's how you can be able to be this person who can go to any restaurant and eyeball the foods and mix and match what you have and make these crazy fancy dishes that taste really good. But right now, I'm just doing the fundamentals and basics to get me the results that I know are gonna come from simplicity. I can complicate it later after I've mastered the basics. That is the reasoning why I do what I do. And if you're a beginner, I recommend you do the same. It's gonna pay dividends in the long run, and you're gonna get the best results in the short term and the long run. So for the last meal of the day, it was meant to be 2 eggs, but we've run out. So when this happens, it's not the end of the world. You can just substitute and find a new combination to get the calories and the macros. Pretty boring, and it's not the easiest to sometimes do, but I made it work. So ended up being 13 grams of whey protein and 23 grams of peanut butter to get the same kind of calories and macros. I'm gonna drink this shake right here, and that's gonna be the end of the full day of eating. So that's 4,035 calories to be precise. 620 grams of carbs, 220 protein, and 75 grams of fat. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to help your boy out. And I'm gonna finish this and head off to bed.